Halloween in Arizona. But the only ones frightened are the Cardinal quarterbacks. Coming up, we'll have all the action from the Saints' comeback win in Phoenix. We'll tell a tale of two fullbacks as we go one-on-one with Brad Muster and injured rookie Lorenzo Neal. We'll also get the latest on the field mouse. It's sack time on Saints Sideline next.
This is Saints Sideline.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on Saints Sideline. I'm Ed Daniels.
And I'm Alexander Laurent. Yeah, the defense returned to form on Sunday in Phoenix. Now the Saints head into the break on a positive note with a record of 6-2 at the halfway point in the season. Good thing for you because you weren't going to show up.
I wasn't going to be here, and I tell you what, they were almost not there for about 3 quarters in Phoenix, and it was almost disaster instead of a victory. Turnovers killed the Saints almost on Sunday, but the Saints overcame their mistakes, got their best defensive effort of the season, and they rallied to beat the Cardinals 20-17.
On All Saints Day Eve, the Cards were ready to throw a little more dirt into the grave the Saints appeared to be digging for themselves. Big Easy native Aeneas Williams ran 20 yards with Quinn Early's fumble, and then 46 yards with Wade Wilson's errant throw. But the Saints finally flexed some of the muscle from the first 5 weeks. The defense rang up 6 sacks, 3 by Ronaldo Turnbull. And finally, the Saints made plays when they had the ball. In the 4th, Wade Wilson hit Quinn Early to tie it at 17.
Early in the game, Wade had thrown me the ball, and I didn't really have complete control of it, and he just got it out, and they made a good play. You know, in the whole game, I just kept telling myself, make a play, and it just came at the perfect time. Wade threw a good ball, and I went and got it.
The finish was frightening for Phoenix. Gene Atkins' center field pick of a Chris Chandler dying quail set up a 38-yard field goal by Morton Anderson, giving the Saints a 20-17 lead. Then the Saints called on Dalton Hilliard to run out the clock. Never was a 3-point win over a lowly Phoenix this important.
Ooh, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, I said 20, you know. And, you know, more important than that is how we won it, you know, overcoming adversity, hanging together, not getting discouraged, and coming back to win the ball game.
Certainly when you win, it's a great feeling of joy, but what I feel right now is a sense of relief.
Mora's counterpart, Joe Bugle, can see the axe coming. On All Saints Day Eve, the Saints rid themselves of 2 weeks of purgatory.
The Phoenix sports writers have seen the Cardinals blow leads before. Here's what they're saying. Don Ketchum of the Phoenix Gazette writes, fans attending Sunday's game at Sun Devil Stadium were giving Cardinals masks to put them in the Halloween spirit. After Sunday, what are the fans likely to get to put on their heads next week when the Philadelphia Eagles come to town? Paper bags? Embarrassing, pure and simple. At the halfway point of the season in the half-empty stadium, only half the team showed up, the defense. Columnist Joe Gilmartin added, when they write the autopsy report on Joe Bugle's career as coach of the Cardinals, it will most likely read, it became critically ill October 10th against New England and was diagnosed as terminal October 31st against New Orleans.
The city of New Orleans came up winners twice this past week. The first came at the NFL's league meetings in Chicago when New Orleans was awarded the 1997 Super Bowl. The league also named the Carolina Panthers as the 29th NFL team. The Panthers may wind up in a division with the Saints when realignment comes in 1995. Of course, no one really knows where the Saints will wind up playing. The one thing Tom Benson definitely wants is to stay in a division with the Atlanta Falcons.
But I'd like to have 5 of us where we have a very good rivalry going in the whole division.
Tampa Bay, Houston.
Tampa, Houston, maybe Charlotte, Miami, maybe just southeast and deal with Atlanta, Charlotte, Tampa and Miami, something like that. You know, I don't know. We'd have to take a look at it. We're just throwing things out.
The NFL will name the other expansion franchise at the next meeting on November 30th. The league also has to work out a new television contract, and that'll have a huge bearing on where the Saints play in 1995.
The popular belief is that the reason the league is waiting a month to name the other franchise is to give St. Louis a chance to clear up their problems, their ownership problems. They expect to have that done soon, and the 30th NFL team will probably be the St. Louis
Stallions.
Right,
I
you
like
are.
the Clydesdales a little bit more. Might have some trademark problems.
Yeah, there you go. Coming up next, we'll talk to a couple of fullbacks. We'll hear from rookie Lorenzo Neal about his disappointing year on injured reserve.
And until Sunday, why hasn't free agent signee Brad Muster played a bigger role in the offense? We'll ask him when Saints Sideline continues. When the Saints signed Brad Muster back in March, they said he would be a major player in the offense. But through 7 games, Muster had accounted for only 76 yards. Number 22 rallied in Phoenix for his biggest game as a Saint.
On the Saints' first TD drive, missing man Brad Muster was found. Muster carried this Wade Wilson pass to the 1, then scored his 28th NFL TD, but first as a Saint.
It feels good to finally contribute something. Been waiting around a while, and I hope it's a trend that continues.
A knee injury in the final preseason game against Detroit sidelined Muster for 3 regular season games. Only last week against Atlanta did Muster contribute with a 31-yard catch on the Saints' lone touchdown drive. Muster wanted lots more production and playing time and told the coaches so.
Yeah, I have asked, yeah.
And?
Well, you know, it's just between me and the coaching staff, really. You know, I am a new guy on this team. I've been around the league, and, you know, I think that should account for something as far as my production-wise, and they see that I can play at this level. But, you know, until you get on a team and I guess the coaches get confidence in you and their system, you know, they really got to go with what's working.
When Lorenzo Neal went down for the year, Brad Muster figured to be a much-needed commodity. Brad Muster was needed on Sunday and delivered.
The first 2 weeks of the season, the Saints got big production from the fullback spot. Rookie Lorenzo Neal was playing great until a broken leg ended his season. Doug Mouton visits with the Saints' promising rookie.
Unfortunately for the Saints, this 230 pounds of battering ram has been reduced to this, hobbling around his apartment. But this will return.
Well, I tell you, I'm missing football more than a fat man wanting a hamburger, so.
Lorenzo Neal's rookie season ended almost as soon as it began. Week 2, the wrong guy falls on the wrong bone at the wrong time. The result, a broken leg, a stretcher ride, and a season that would have been.
You see so many injuries happening, you say, okay, that ain't gonna happen to me. Or you just, I work out too hard, I run too hard, you know, I work out really hard, I have a great work ethic, I eat right, you know, try to train right and live right. And then when it happened, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this was me. I mean, just tears, I mean, when I got in locker room, it was just tears of, not from the pain, it was just from, you know, being, you know, taken away from something that I enjoy doing.
If a bright side can be found, at least Lorenzo Neal got a brief chance to showcase his unique abilities. In just over a game and a half with the Saints, he's already turned in one of the best runs in team history. On the Saints' first play from scrimmage in that Atlanta game, number 23 came spinning out of the pile. Here's the interesting part. At this point, the foot race is on. Now, that's Bruce Pickens of Atlanta, number 39, timed under 4.4 in the 40. Lorenzo's got a 5-yard head start, but he's not supposed to be a particularly fast guy.
I'm not supposed to be like 4.7, 4.8, but I know I can run, and I just say, hey, I can't get ran down, because if I get ran down, I know all the guys on the team are going to be talking about me. You got to call, you got to. So I said, and the boys at home in California, so I said, okay, I got to get there no matter if I have to carry him in or drag him in, and I dragged him in about 5 yards out.
Lorenzo Neal is counting the days until he'll be back out here at the Saints practice facility working with the team. Of course, that can't happen this season. He's already been placed on injured reserve, so he is definitely out for the year. but at least his off-the-field life will get back to normal soon. His cast should be off within the next month. Things won't really get back to normal, though, until next July, when Lorenzo Neal can get back to this. I'm Doug Mouton for Saints Sideline.
Up next, Rickey Jackson reaches yet another career milestone.
And the field mouse, when will he be ready? We'll talk with linebacker Sam Mills when Saints Sideline continues.
Sunday in Phoenix, Rickey Jackson hit yet another milestone. Number 57 played in his 187th game as a Saint. That's the most in team history.
No one has worn the black and gold more times than Rickey Jackson. With his 187th game as a Saint, Jackson moves past Stan Brock and has now played more games than anyone else in Saints history. But in typical Rickey Jackson fashion, he shrugged off the milestone.
The only thing I care about is winning the ball game. We won the ball game today. We beat the team we're supposed to beat, and that's the only thing that counts.
That's an attitude Jackson's had since he came into the league back in 1981 as one of two Saints' second-round draft choices. In addition to games played, number 57 is also the Saints' all-time leader in sacks and fumble recoveries. And in his 12.5 years, he's made more than 1,000 tackles.
Rickey Jackson and the Saints will get a much-needed boost when Sam Mills returns to the lineup. Number 51 will watch the game here in Phoenix from the sidelines, but is almost ready to get back in the lineup.
His projected return to the field will be in 2 weeks against the Green Bay Packers. But it has been a difficult adjustment for the Saints defensive leader as he continues rehabbing from a knee injury he suffered 7 weeks ago against the Oilers.
It's hard to watch it and not be in there. I think it was harder the first couple of games until I got so sick that I realized that, hey, I want my health first and then football. Yeah. And that's kind of the road I've taken. You know, I'm healthy again, and now I'm hungry to get back on the field again.
Being off the field for this long has not kept Sam from playing the game.
I do stay into the game plan, although I'm not out there playing, so that I can see what's going on out there. I want to play those games mentally and stay sharp mentally, although I'm not on the field, so that when I come back, I have less things to get reacquainted with.
Sam says that all the pieces to the Saints puzzle are here. It is now all a matter of player execution, and says the rookies have given the team a nice mix.
To be honest with you, I'm really surprised at how much the rookies have contributed at this point. Willie Rofe and Derek Brown, those guys have played a real big part in it all, along with Irv and Lorenzo Neal when he was healthy. Those guys have come in and done an outstanding job, and that's great for a team. When you can get guys like that just coming and blending right in with the veterans, that's super. And then you have the veterans that have been here that are playing good football too. So, you know, other than the last 2 weeks, this team has really played outstanding football.
Buford Jordan is waiting on deck. We'll talk about the rejuvenated defense, among other things, when Saints Sideline continues.
Individual performance of the day Sunday was turned in by a New Orleans native. Unfortunately for the Saints, he plays for the Cardinals.
Former Southern University star Aeneas Williams tried to make his off-season homecoming as happy as possible. Williams did need his degree in accounting to add up the points from his first 2 NFL TDs. But the loss to the Saints added lots of sting to what could have been a sweet afternoon.
And he's going to score! What a run by Williams!
Well, it's a loss that it really hurts. I mean, no matter what happens, not winning the game hurts. This is a game we needed to win and we felt we could win. And we just had some breaks that didn't go our way, and we just have to keep working hard. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it.
The former Fort Chays High graduate had a career-best 6 interceptions in 1991, his rookie year.
quarter. This is a...
The Saints now take their 6-2 record into their second open week. To talk about Sunday's win, we go on the bench with Buford Jordan. Buford, the defense has returned. The Saints are back in form. Tell me a little bit about the key to their effort. They shut them down pretty much. They got 143 yards.
Yeah, they really did. The Saints played good defensive, pass defense, because they got some good yards running, but they didn't do a real effective job passing the ball.
Buf, there's two spins you can put on this game. One, the Saints came back really when they weren't playing well, and that shows a lot of character to come back against any team. Or two, the Saints didn't look good against a bad football team, and it doesn't bode well for the rest of the season. Which spin do you put on it?
I put it the second one you put.
Doesn't bode well for the rest of the season, huh?
No, it really doesn't, because they didn't play as effective as I thought they would, especially offensively. Defensively they bent a little, but they didn't break. Phoenix only scored 3 points on the defense. The other points came from the offense. So you can't have it like that and expect to win.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the running game. 96 yards as a team collectively. They did better this week than they've done the last few weeks. Why so?
I know Ed's going to probably say something about this, but I think it's the two back. If you look at the runs.
About that yesterday, I said, look at that fullback blocking. He's going to go crazy over there.
Right. And the thing is if you looked at some of their run plays, they got a lot better yardage out of the two back than they did the one. And I think they should have used it more, because Phoenix was using a four-man front, two linebacker scheme. Put the fullback on the DB and make the DB, make some tackles, which isn't going to happen too much.
Tell me a little bit about the open week. There's a lot of pros and cons about that. Some people say the open week is bad. It sort of breaks concentration, that they really need to be consistent in terms of practice. What about the open week?
I think right now this open week is going to help the Saints, because they're going to get some of their starters back. They're supposed to get Jim Wilkes back, Sam Mills. The thing is, a lot of people expected them to come in and make a big impact. But, you got to look. These guys are coming off of injuries, and they're going to be a little timid. As great a competitors as they are, they're still going to be a little timid, so they won't be as aggressive as if they were, 100%. So, that's going to be a plus for them. But you don't look for them to be a real big impact.
Packers, 49ers, Vikings, Browns, not necessarily in that order in the next 4 weeks. What do you think this next four is going to tell us?
I think it will, because you're looking at the Packers, who's playing real good ball at this time, and the defense with Reggie White, and now they got Bennett back. So you're looking at a defense that's coming in ready to play, and the offense is not bad either. It's going to be a tough road for them.
Makes you glad you're retired. Except when it's time to count the money. Okay. Buford Jordan will be back next week to look ahead to the Packers. Up next, we'll show you how they did Sunday. That's next on Saints Sideline.
DMI New Orleans, the official...
Of course, this Sunday, the Saints are off. The following Sunday, the Green Bay Packers come to the Superdome. The Packers are on a mini roll right now. Mike Holmgren and company are hosting the Chicago Bears Sunday at Lambeau Field. Second quarter, Brett Favre of Southern Mississippi rifles it into Sterling Sharp. 21-yard touchdown. Packers led 10-3 at the half. Fourth quarter now. The Bears driving, trying to tie it up. Harbaugh is hit by safety Leroy Butler after a wild scramble. Butler will recover the football to stop the drive. Then the coup de grace, a 17-yard touchdown run by Darrell Thompson. The Packers had written him off in the preseason, but he scores here, and the Packers scored a 17-3 win over the Bears. From the Central to the West, where the Saints will head into the Packer game, one up in the division. The 49ers crush the Rams and T.J. Rubley 40-17 to stay one game back at 5-3. The Rams fall to 2-6, and Jerry Glanville, well, the seat is hot again. The Falcons lost to Tampa Bay to fall to 2-6.
8 weeks into the season, and the Saints are tied for the best record in the NFC. 6-2 is as good as it gets in the conference. The Lions rallied to beat the Vikings Sunday night to go a game and a half up in the Central. And despite losing to the Jets, the New York Giants are a tiebreaker in front in the East. The Cowboys are also 5-2. They'll host the Giants in a big one this Sunday. San Francisco is the second wild card team at this point, and the Vikings at 4-3 round out the playoff picture.
Alex, if you had said before the season that the Saints would be 6-2 at this point, I think most everyone would be happy with that. But until the Saints win a playoff game, get something done in January, I think you're just going to find the majority of folks around here not delirious, not just yet.
I think the one thing to keep in mind is that of the last 8 games, 6 of those teams have a winning record. So as they go into the season, the water still gets a little bit deeper, so they definitely have their jobs cut out for them.
They have their jobs cut out for them, and so do we, covering high school football on WGNO TV. The clubs are fighting for playoff spots. We'll have all the action from the final week of the high school football regular season on Friday Night Football. That's Friday at 10:30 right here on WGNO 26, and then it's on to the playoffs there. I'm Ed Daniels.
I'm Alexander Laurent. We'll see you next week on Saints Sideline.
Good night.
I thought our defense played a super game today. Just an outstanding job. Offensively, you know, other than the 2 turnovers that obviously that hurt, I thought they came back, and you know, we struggled a little bit the first half, but I thought we came back the second half and basically, you know, protected the football and moved the ball and you know, got the points that we needed. I thought Dalton did a real nice job of running there at the end, but I thought, you know, we played you know, much better than we have the last 2 weeks, and it was a great win and it was a great comeback.